this policy where you grow by capital accumulation. And Singapore adopted this policy. In other words, if you have a wage rate which is fixed, then you find that this is your wage rate, and this is your production possibility curve. This is a little technical, but those of you who know economics will. And if you keep your wage rate constant, then this is the surplus which you get. What you earn over what you pay. Wages is what you pay. But the wage rate is constant because you are in a labor surplus situation. So you make a profit. And this profit, if you reinvest, then you can expand the economy to go outwards from A to B. So Singapore was in this situation where the wage rate is constant. This was in 1959 when the new government was elected. There's a lot of unemployed people in Singapore. And then because there's this harmony between the workers and the management, the workers said, we will work for you, but we won't ask for salary increase, or not much salary increase. We had a National Wages Council. This body is still existing today. And this tripartite body would sit down and then recommend wages for the following year. So the wage level was kept constant. The workers did benefit. It's not that they were exploited, but they gave up what could have been higher wages in order to have more investment. Like what I showed you just now. The rate of investment in Singapore went up. So this is the profit made by companies. So this investment was enabled the economy to grow from A to B. So that's how the Singapore economy grew. So this model can be used in all the labor surplus countries in the world, whether it be Indonesia, or India, or Pakistan, Bangladesh, China. This model for growth is now being adopted by them. And I think it's working. Many of these countries are showing high growth rates. In China, for example, the growth last year was 9%. India also 6%. Indonesia also growing. So one day, it may happen in your country that you can in fact go back and you can go back to a higher wage level. After you stay in Singapore, you learn what you can, you earn what you can go back to India, to China, to Indonesia, and you can earn a much higher pay than what you're earning now. So the training you get here will help you in your future life. So the first statement, therefore, is that the Singapore success story can be replicated. It can be repeated. There's nothing special about Singapore in a real sense. The only thing special was this bonding between the management, labor, and government. That's a very special thing. But in very few countries can you find that all three groups work together. In many countries they quarrel. You know, the government doesn't get along with business, and the business doesn't get along with the trade unions, and then there are strikes, there's unrest in the country, and so on. But Singapore managed to do this. And that's why we could apply this model, and therefore the Singapore economy grew from A to B. But then comes the second statement, that Singapore's success is hard to be sustained, because to carry on growth, you need to have better integration of the foreign and local labor force. We need to have incentives to raise the level of investment in the country. And then the third statement is that new institutions need to be sustained to bond poor workers and rich foreigners or citizens. If the income level of Singaporeans is still quite low, it will create unrest in Singapore. The people will complain. So recently the general elections, the vote for the government went down, all the way down to only 60% compared to 70, 80% in the previous. The other people in Singapore are getting unhappy because they're not seeing the benefits of their hard work and so on. But of course, what is Singapore's strength is that we are still a model of multiracial, multi-religious, multilingual harmony. This is something very special. It took a long time to build it, and Singapore broke away from Malaysia because of this factor. You remember the previous slide I showed? It showed you the 1959 election. That was when we started to develop, but it was not part of, was not independent. It was not independent in 1959. But because we had our own state government, we could do those things. But we merged with Malaysia. After 1959, then came a series of steps, and then in 1963 we joined Malaysia. And then, under Malaysia, we found that this multiracial, multi-religious, multilingual harmony could not be preserved, because Malaysia, and the word Malay, it means it's a country run by the Malays, and it's still true today. So because of that, we could not preserve this multiracial, multi-religious, multilingual harmony. The Malays still had the upper hand. And only after we broke away from Malaysia did we resume our economic growth rate. So that is the story of Singapore. It is a story which can be replicated in your country, but whether it can be sustained is another matter. And we pray for good harmony between rich and the poor, between the foreigners and the local people, in order for Singapore's growth to be sustained. Thank you very much.